Hi everyone, welcome. What you see here is a pair of worm bins. These worm bins have African night crawlers living in them. These systems are 120 days of age today. And today's visit is going to consist of giving them feeding number 10 over those 120 days. It's been 14 days since we last checked in. And when we last checked in, we were presented with a top coating of material out here that consisted of stuff like this, my shredded paper cardboard mix. But after the check-in, we used a different top coating. A whole bunch of just leafy matter got laid out here. It looks like we also laid out a couple coffee filters. I guess those were meant to guide us back to the section of the bins that were last fed. I have coffee to feed again today, but I don't have coffee filters. So it's kind of nice that these coffee filters are holding up. We'll just put them back into service at the end to be our feeding zone indicators. I've got bedding that we can use again to sprinkle out across the top surface after we blend what's out here in. And then bedding that we can use to lay down as a foundation for today's feeding. A couple slices of banana bread, a couple pieces of banana peel, bread, peel. Where's the actual banana? Well, I guess the humans ate the banana, but the banana peel remains. And down here I've got, you ever see those little packets of jelly when you go to the diner? I put a couple of those in the freezer thinking that maybe they would solidify and I could pop them out as a little chunk of like jelly cube, ice cube sort of, but they never really froze. This looks like a little bit of mold growing out here on the surface. Only here though, I don't see it in bin number 2. So let's dig in. I don't recall what was applied as feeding last time. This is always fun to do when you do a sprinkling of top coating material like we did here with leaves last time, and the way it was even done prior with shredded paper cardboard mix. When you peel back that top layer of bedding type materials that was left out for them as a top coating, usually you're presented with some really nice, fairly freshly created worm castings. That's kind of what I think we're seeing down here. It's kind of nice that we've got ourselves a little collection of material that can end up being part of the foundation for the next feeding. I just found a little piece of corn cob, and I just turned a piece that was one piece into, at this point, feels something like perhaps 12 or 15 pieces. All right, let's dig in. Here's the section that was covered with coffee filter indicating to us where we last fed. All right, I'm assuming that this is going to have to be some sort of bedding type materials that were probably included with part of the feeding last time. Resembles paper, maybe napkins. I don't think I see any printing on it, so maybe these were just some napkins. Yeah, you know, it's coming back to me now. We did use a number of napkins, and I got a couple napkins to use today too. But I think the way we used them last time was we kept laying napkins down in between layers of food, so we might have created a feeding zone, like kind of excavated a little pit, and then lay down a napkin, threw on the old foods, put another napkin on top of that, and then put in some of the new foods, put a napkin on top of that, so on and so forth, kind of layering it up. Today I've just got 2 napkins I need to do away with, so I don't think we'll be doing that layering thing. Although I did think about actually maybe bringing some cardboard into play at some point for these African night crawlers. You know, when you put bedding into a worm bin, oftentimes it's, oops, I think I just broke one of our corncob spheres. Alright, I think the corncob is at its end at this point. It just broke apart so easily. But, yeah, you know, when you put bedding materials into your worm bin and then you start adding kitchen scraps and foods for them to eat, with different types of worms, you start to notice how they seem to favor different things, and all the worms always do seem to favor all the yummy kitchen scraps they receive. But the bedding materials that you make their system out of, like Like here I'm using shredded paper cardboard, and clearly I've got napkins, leaves, you got all kinds of different stuff you could use as bedding. And the African night crawlers, such as the worms that inhabit these two systems, they're kind of well known for really having a tendency to like consuming the bedding type materials that the systems are made out of just as much as eating the kitchen scraps. So that's just one of the tendencies of these particular types of worms. So now I'm bumping into more of these little round chunks of corn cob. Corn cob definitely starting to feel pretty fragile. Here's another corn cob sphere. And I'm pretty sure what we busted over in the other system was probably one of those too, one of those remaining corn cob spheres. I wasn't really looking for them, but now I'm curious to see if we might bump into any more corn cob spheres over here in bin number 1. It did seem like one of the systems was clearly outnumbering the other in terms of how many of those round or spherical chunks of corn cob remained. I have a feeling it was bin number 2 leading in that department as far as still having some corn cob spheres. So this is a really big napkin. I'm even wondering if there's just one more layer. We could probably even unfold it one more layer beyond this. But you know, that's probably good enough. We'll just lay it in here. We've clearly even got some other leftover bedding type materials, as you can see over here. And let's not forget, both systems are going to smack on the lips there. Both systems are going to get a nice big napkin here. Then we can start piling in some of their foods here. Let's bring in some of this banana bread. Let's chunk this thing up into a few pieces so we can spread it out. Here's another one. I came at this stuff with a little bit of a spray with my spray bottle just to dampen it in advance of being put in here so that it's wet rather than dry. And then, you know, let's be generous with the bedding. I've got some freshly prepared here. Do you recognize the newly made stuff over here with the pink tablecloth? I recently upgraded to a nice clean replacement tablecloth here on the wormery bench, and naturally the old one just got shredded up and turned into bedding. I've been putting away seeds. These are, well, they started out as being pepper seeds. Some looked okay and probably could have been set aside, because I've been storing a bunch of pepper seeds, pumpkin seeds, cantaloupe seeds. But these, I figured I was just going to throw them into a worm bin at some point. They didn't really look so nice. So all those seed collection materials are going to get used to make my next batch of worm chow, and as you can see, we're pretty much running out right now. So now I've got reason to bust out my collection of, oh, let me show you. Collection of pumpkin seeds. Oh, what do we have down here? Hiding. Got some cantaloupe seeds in that little jar, and this was the lovely collection of pepper seeds, not to be tainted by the imperfect ones we just scattered in as worm food. Alright, so we're making our way down to the unusual thing down here. It almost made me feel like I should hang on to a little piece of something or use something as a tool to make sure I get this out of here. It's pretty sticky, but it is coming out. That's good. I mean, yeah, it's strawberry jam or jelly or whatever, but I would have to guess that there's probably just as much sugar in this as there is fruit. So I have a feeling it's gonna be a welcome little treat, and I'm gonna have to spend a little extra time just cleaning out all that sugary stuff. All right, so all this other cool stuff I figured would be best just sort of blended in with all the newly added delicious foods. So all that nicely broken in bedding material that didn't get consumed from the last time can just continue And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Corncob sphere. There's 3 of them right there. And here, who knows, maybe we'll bump into one. Maybe I've been too rough. Maybe the system's just been too hungry for corncob spheres. I'm not sure. This is the stem of a banana. But we're pretty much at the finish line here. Let's grab some material from the outer edges, perhaps. Yeah, here we go. Corncob sphere. Dropped it in right into the feeding area. They're out there. They're still out there. We've got plenty of leaves, so we're going to be using leaves as a top covering. They really worked nicely last time, and they just have that natural look, you know. Sometimes we've used paper, like 2 check-ins ago. Even last time when we first came in, we were presented with just some of this stuff, this paper, cardboard resting out on the surface. But last time we splurged and laid out some lovely leafy matter, and today we've got even more leafy matter, except this stuff is fresh. This stuff is fresh from this autumn's leaves falling, and I guess the thing that sets them apart from the last check-in is that these still have some of their colors remaining. As you might have noticed when we peeked into the box before, everything we've used up until now has been so thoroughly dried over so many months of just sitting around waiting to be used that we've not seen any color. Corncob sphere. We've not seen much color in the leafy bedding, but now we will get a nice splash of color. So before we bring back the feeding zone indicators to show ourselves where we last fed, in can come some of the slightly more colorful leaves that we've got in this year's leaf collection. And we've got a whole bunch, so we don't have to be stingy. Here's a stick. Where did I see it? Here it is. No, I thought I saw a stick. Every now and again I bump into a piece of stick. You know, I'll pull those out. It seems to me like the leaf stems will, you know, gradually break down, but sticks, they get sucked up by my leaf vac as well. And oftentimes I'll take this stuff as I'm collecting it and jamming it into the box and crush it and try to even use that as an opportunity to break up some of the leaf stems. And at the same time, as I'm crushing and crunching, I can sense larger sticks like that and weed them out and remove them. But with this most recent batch, I haven't really been doing that. These leaf stems are still just too fresh. They're not going to easily break just from me crushing them. Maybe a little bit, but certainly not much. So these African night crawlers, they should appreciate all the lovely bedding they've just been given with this meal. And I guess what I like about the stuff getting put right out here on the surface is that it just seems to simulate just the forest floor in a way, right? I mean, the plastic coverings really help a lot too in terms of keeping everything cozy and damp. And I guess we did put in a few dry materials here, but hopefully the system's existing moisture levels are enough to compensate and thoroughly dampen all that stuff to make it comfortable for worm traffic. I thought about spraying this stuff down, but it did seem to me like the system's probably got enough moisture in it to be okay. And you know, I'm such an airhead. I wanted to use coffee and I didn't use any, not even a little bit. I got distracted by the jelly. All right, whatever. Too late now. Maybe next time. All right, everyone, that's it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up. That's always very much appreciated. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now. So, just a quick PS on this one. I did find, after watching and editing the video, that my work in here wasn't quite complete. It did seem like coming back in here with the spray bottle might be a nice idea. And you know what? It also made me think that it might be a good idea to, as long as I was at it, do away with a little bit of coffee over here as well. So perhaps not much, but at least a little. Oops. I believe that the main attraction is going to be the Nice application of moisture. I pumped up the spray bottle nice and strong, so it's going to dispense a great deal of liquid really fast. And it did seem to me like adding a little bit of moisture to these might be a good idea. It did seem like the materials that we used down in the feeding zone were a little bit on the dry side, so let's drench them. So I'll finish taking care of this. Just figured I'd close up the kind of open-ended topic there with these systems. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Have a great day.